So we're fresh off of Friday's cliffhanger with Owen being the stalker, which again is no surprise to us at all. Now I'm gonna put a pic of who Owen was or who he used to be, because he's not new to days. He's been on here 16 years ago as Stephanie's stalker. He used to work with EJ when they were having the Demara Kyriakis feud, so he's not a strange face to Salem. However, he is the one behind framing Jeremy and making sure that everybody else believe him because of his previous history and his traumatic history with Stephanie, and that was how he was able to come up with this plan. Now he's upset with Stephanie because she has moved on with Alex. She has eloped with Alex. They're married and all that, and he's upset because she's betraying him. And I'm saying, sir, again, the fact that you are upset with her moving on with Alex, where were you when she was with Everett / Bobby, when she was with Chad? Like, she has moved on so many men after you, even though you guys weren't a thing. It was just a thing in your deluded mind. But anyways, he's back to finish what he started, and he has both of them tied up. Jeremy was just supposed to be the one going to jail. He kind of complicated their plans and everything, and now it's like he has to figure out a way how to get rid of him permanently. So he leaves them in there and he goes about to get stuff done for his actual job here, right? We get into what he's actually doing here outside of just tormenting Stephanie yet again. Now, Stephanie is just sorry, as she should be, for what she did to Jeremy, how she treated him, how the town treated him, and she's sorry for not believing him. And Jeremy said he understands. He's trying to be noble, but I'm saying, Jeremy, you need to give them hell for how they treated you. However, she wanted to know, how did he even find her? Because, we are curious. How did he find her? So it turns out that Thomas, on his last day of school, he was also there, and he found a phone in the classroom. So it belonged to Stephanie. So it seems as if Owen planted it there so that the cops could really nail Jeremy once and for all. So by the time he was supposed to bring it into the police station or find the office, the police came, the sirens were there, so he escaped through the bathroom window as Jada suspected. So he couldn't go to his car. The police were there, so he walked on foot. Not many people see him, but he did see the same guy again rushing through the square, and he was able to follow him. Now, he also bumped into him at the school, and he knows all the custodians there, but this one was really strange. So that was how he was able to tail him and suspect that he was the one actually stalking Stephanie. So he tailed him to the lab, and he's familiar with the hospital layout because remember, his father was chief of staff. Now he was able to tail Owen, and he watched as Owen go through the panel door, and he went in behind, and that was how he was able to see Stephanie after Owen left. Now, we'll get into more details as we go forward about Owen and what else he's doing in Salem. Stephanie also did tell Jeremy about her past with Owen and how it was traumatizing to her, and he really felt bad for her, but he said that he's going to do his best to protect her. Now, with Maggie and Julie. Now, Maggie is calling Julie to just check in on her. It is her birthday, so she does say, hey, do you want company, because this is the first without dog. Now, the bird, something about a bird at the window just reminded her to just check in on Julie, and that was how she ended up coming over there, and Julie appreciated her company. Now, Julie also apologized to Maggie because Maggie was right all along about Julie, right? So anyways, Julie said she didn't want to believe that Jeremy is capable of this whole thing, and she just can't really wrap her mind around it, and she's just wondering, where could Jeremy have taken Stephanie? She told Steve that he may have taken her to the Horton cabin, but it turns out he wasn't there. Now she's wondering, where could he have been? It could have been in Gone on Foot, but where? There's not many places to hide in Salem, as Maggie's saying as well, and they're just praying for their safe return at this point. Now, she also talked about Jeremy not being at the school, and she's been trying to call him, and Maggie saying to her that what would you even say to him if you picked up? And she said that she still love him and that she just want him to do the right thing and not really do anything that will, set him back a lot further than it already is. Now, Philip and Gabby were in the bedroom after, their date or whatever. And Philip is just still worried about Stephanie, as understandable. And he's looking at the picture, just consumed with what might be happening to her right now. Now, Gabby wakes up in the middle of this and he apologizes for keeping up. But she said no. She asked any word on Stephanie. So he said not one word. And, he feels bad to be thinking about his ex while he's with her. And she said she understands, like, she was there talking about Stefan for weeks now. And he was there to support her. So she's going to be there to support him. And he feels it more because he was around for when, she was kidnapped the first time and when she was in the morgue, and it was a traumatizing time. She was caught up in the middle of the Demira Kyriakis feud, and Stephanie dumped him after. And, he always felt bad about that happening to her, and now it's happening again. He feels guilty, those old feelings coming up, and Gabby's just there to listen. And also she offers any money to help because, Titan is going through the financial struggles, and they did put up a ransom for Stephanie because they do feel at fault for, her putting out this novel and all of that, and this causing the problem. Now, Gabby offers, but, Philip declined and said that he will, he will let her know if they even need it at this point. So remember when I was saying that he also had a job in Salem, right? So he actually is working for Rolf in the lab, and he's there to really make surveillance over the body that's in the little tube thing there, and to just make sure that the surroundings, the conditions are favorable, right? I don't know if EJ is aware of this at all, because that was the question that's Stephanie was asking if he was still working for EJ, but he did say no, and he said that he had other business to take care of. Now they're wondering if his boss actually know that they're in here, because they did make the noise and Rolf was asking Owen what was that. So Owen was behaving like he didn't know, and then Rolf is thinking, oh, maybe it's his music, but Rolf doesn't know either. So imagine when they find out that somebody that EJ paid off to capture Stephanie is back, and maybe they're going to want to pinpoint that to EJ unknowingly and blame him for her disappearance, because they are very quick to blame EJ for everything. At this point, I'm not surprised if they don't blame him for climate change at this point. Now Rolf leaves, and Owen is talking to the body, and he's saying, when you do wake up, I'm planning to take Stephanie out of here in this tube, and, crazy ideas. At this point, we know it's, the body is a she, and they're planning to revive that person. A lot of people think it's Lexi because, some people think it's Abigail, some people think it's Lexi, but remember in the promo they had a episode where EJ brought Paulina to the lab and showed her who was in the tube, and it would make sense if he was showing her Abigail. It makes sense that he was showing her Lexi, but how is this going to play in part? I'm not sure, but let's see what happens, guys. I mean, definitely a lot to tune in to Owen. Of course, Jeremy is gonna be the hero in this thing, and I would hope that he stick around for them to all give him a grand apology tour, because he definitely deserves it. But let's see how this Owen guy, he seems okay for a villain so far, apart from his little crazy tendencies to take away Stephanie and all that. But let's see how it goes for the rest of the week. But comment below your thoughts on today's episode, guys. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys tomorrow.